So this is a personal essay taken from a working project, a collection of personal essays called Get Over It, a bloody shame. My first thought was that Clancy's mum had picked up my bloody tampon and thrown it out before another guest happened upon it. Or that perhaps she had mistaken the small toilet paper covered object for a badly wrapped Christmas present and placed it underneath the tree. Shit, I thought in increasing panic. How do I deal with this? Somehow, it seemed tacky to lean across the lunch table and thank her for disposing of my tampon. Cheers for that, Janet. Or can I call you Mum? Flashback to an hour previously when I had changed my tampon over in the downstairs bathroom before realizing that there was no bin in which to place it. Marching it upstairs and through the 15 or so guests milling around with snacks in hand seemed inappropriate. So I had wrapped it in toilet paper and tucked it beside the toilet. My plan was to return after everyone had left and put it in a bin upstairs. Staying with Clancy's family over Christmas is always a fairly intense experience. My family Christmases involve myself, my brother, Mum, Dad, and Clancy. No other relatives are invited because they are all either dead or dead crazy. I always eat so much that I begin to worry that my stomach will burst open, like that scene in Alien, only instead of a chest burster, it will be an amorphous mixture of potato salad, cold salads, and beer. This is usually followed by a mid-afternoon nap before I emerge ready to ingest even more. At the Johnson family Christmases, there are usually about a dozen guests, from 5 to 70 years of age. Everyone has known one another for their whole lives, so they have no problem with shouting over one another in conversation. I usually either find myself caught between 2 or 3 conversations at once, or having the beginnings of an argument with Clancy's dad about whether or not Campbell Newman is a top bloke. At this particular gathering, I was experiencing serious sensory overload as usual, and this combined with PMS and my exclusion from the Secret Santa left me convinced that Clancy's family hated me. After most people went home, I had it out with him. I told them not to bother because we didn't know which day we'd be coming up, he tried to assure me, in the kind of soothing voice one usually reserves for a gassy baby or a demented octogenarian. But they gave you a present, I threw back, refusing to acknowledge that Clancy is in fact one of the family, and it would be pretty harsh for his grandmother not to give him a Christmas present. Riding the waves of my emotions and unsure whether I was going to burst into tears or punch Clancy in the face, I thought it best to retreat to the bathroom, have a breather, and while I was in there, dispose of the tampon from earlier. I opened the bathroom door, checked next to the toilet, and found it wasn't there. And it was then that I heard the dog growling. Kelvin, Clancy's sister's boyfriend, had recently adopted a robust little puppy named Manu. An excitable thing, he too was overwhelmed by all the strange people that had been milling around him all day. "Hey little buddy," I said soothingly, "where are ya?" I could hear him around the corner, growling away and sounding, oddly, like he had something in his mouth. I rounded the corner and saw Manu playing in front of Kelvin. And I noticed that Kelvin had a strange expression on his face. It was the tampon, lodged firmly in Manu's mouth. I wasn't yet on the level with Kelvin where I could use this sort of thing as an icebreaker, so I freaked out. I tried to get it from beneath Manu's jaws, but puppy or no, he was a strong dog. I started to laugh shrilly. "So that's where that thing went." Kelvin stood there, an awkward smile fixed upon his face. The tampon wasn't just slightly used. It had gone the full course, which was apparent from the bloodstains on Manu's teeth. After he dropped it in front of Kelvin like a bone, a 100% cotton, fully absorbent bone. Kelvin, gentleman that he was, didn't meet my eyes as I gingerly picked it up and backed away to the bathroom. The last thing I saw before I shut the door was Manu licking Kelvin.